Alright guys, let's get a little DLR8 testing in. Just soldered up the wires, had to reverse the rotation of the motor on the ESC so I could get it going in the right direction. And this is their first test drive. Seems a little loose. Now, interesting. Okay, got a little tire scrub up front. Not surprised, these are very low offset wheels. Or, yeah. Yep, that wheel scrub's going to catch me up. That's fine. These are not the final wheels that are going to go in the car anyhow. Overall, it's not too bad, honestly. It's a little slow. I am running a different tire on this one. This one has the just the Chinese Michelin's on it. I've been running the Rhino tires here recently, and they are so much better than the LF5S's I've been on for the longest time. Probably do a tire swap real quick, and we'll be back. Let's see what we can get out of it then. Here's another small clip. I didn't change the tires. I decided against it. I wanted to go ahead and redo the endpoints on it, see if I could maybe get around the tire scrub with the amount of offset on the wheels currently. Not really. It's actually sacrificing steering angle quite a bit. So as long as I drive the car at about 60-70%, it's very consistent though. Just don't push it past its limit. Those Michelin tires, the Chinese Alibaba tires, I'm honestly not very happy with those. Everyone's told me for a long time to get them, but now that I've tried a set of them, I honestly like the Rhino tires more. I think they're a little more fluid with slightly more grip. These are just a little on the slow side, where the LF5 and the LF5S's are a little on the fast side. But so far, yeah, the car's really good. I would say outside of the few things that I had holding me up during the build process, which I'll address in the build video, wasn't too terribly bad of a build. Car seems to be very promising. One thing I've noticed here, just while testing, the suspension's not really working the way I want it to. It's not really giving that front end lift like the D24 does. And it's weird because I have the suspension set where I believe it would do exactly what I need it to do, but I think these tires just lack that much traction that it can't actually put the power down. But yeah, hopefully we'll get some more adjustments made to it. We'll get a tire swap done, and we'll really see what this car's capable of in the near future. I'm gonna grab y'all some footage of the Hot Boy GLD. This thing's came a long way. When I first got the car, it was basically undrivable. All the ball joints were relatively stiff. The steering angle was just minimal. You had to clearance the bulkhead, widen it, so forth. The car's still nowhere near perfect, don't get me wrong, but it is so much better than it has been before. I just felt the need to show a little video of it. Yeah, too shallow there. I'm also not standing in my normal driving position, which does throw me off personally. It's funny how something so small makes such a big difference, but it's been like that whether it's off-road, drifting, small scale. It just doesn't matter what I've done. I pick my area where I drive from and I stick with it, or I bomb it. You notice the car seems like it lunges out of the turns depending on, you know, when you're going straight, when you're transitioning. I think the lack of toe in the rear of the car, it currently has 0-degree toe, and it just makes it faster than what it should be. I wanted to tone that down a little bit. Just haven't placed the order for the actual toe adjustment bar in the back, toe block, whatever. But yeah, I love the car, for real. For a car that most people won't drive or most people don't talk about, and it's still a readily available chassis. There's nothing wrong with the car. It just needs, like everything else, it needs a little bit of love and some, you know, a little attention to detail. And then you can really get the car to perform the way you want. And yeah, would it just be cool to say, hey man, I'm going door to door with a D24 and I'm driving a GLD? Nobody does that. I think that's what makes it so appealing for me. All right, so I'm excited for some footage of this one as well. This is the RTS with a Hobby Wing 5000 kV Mini 28 brushless system on it. A11 CLS. It's got the gyro receiver combo from GT55 for the Noble. And the car is amazing. I don't know why. I mean, I know why the RTS received so much hate in the initial drop of it, because of the quality control process. Just things that were missed during that process and the overall quality of the car. Which is funny because this is a V1. This is supposedly the problem car. But I can tell you now, it is so good. This car is being slept on. A huge feature of this car, which was a game changer in my opinion, was the active tow. And I see a lot of people trying to either eliminate that on the V2, or honestly, if you just use the V2 the way it was intended out the box via instructions, the active tow is completely backwards and does not function as it should. You should have when your suspension's compressing, you should have tow in. So it's at full lock, it's giving you grip towards the center of the turn, allowing you to run on power more. If everything's set properly, that is. Personally, now that I've got this car set up, this is probably one of my favorite cars to drive, hands down. It is 100% D24 territory in performance. There's nothing wrong with the car outside of the design. You know, like they fixed some of the initial design problems with it, but the next issues I have with the car, even with the V2, is they didn't fix the active tow. That was one huge thing. Even if you do fix the active tow and do my like version 1 fix for it, where you just flip the bracket and move the angle your active tow rods more towards the front of the vehicle, it does allow for a little wheel wobble, but in an upcoming video I'll show you it's no more wheel wobble than any of these other cars on the market. So I mean, there's really no big complaints with it, other than they also don't have bump stops for the suspension. It doesn't seem like a big deal, but with the springs being slightly too long or slightly too short, which really too long is the issue, it doesn't allow you to get the car the way you want it. Currently, for me to drive the car with the 35 body on it, but with not fully detailed, it's a little light. So for me to get the front end to work the way I want, I just got rid of the adjustment collars on the front shocks altogether. Those will go back when a detailed body goes on it or this one gets finished. But for now, man, the suspension works so good. It is actually like right in the ballpark of D24 good, which is kind of where I expected the DLR8 to be, but I'm not going to say nothing negative on that until I try the proper tires and do a couple of geometry changes on it, because the car does have a lot of potential. But, my God, look at the RTS. If you have one of these cars and it doesn't perform like this, keep working at it. It's worth your time. You can get this car to be an absolute top-tier performer. When they said that they launched the car and won a competition, I believe it. Especially if they knew what they were doing setting it up, which I'm sure they did. Here's some more raw RTS footage. The car is just so good, I don't want to swap to the next one yet. Body actually picked up on the wall there. Have not had that happen before. scrub in the fender wells, but nothing too major. Scrubbing hasn't caused me to at least lose it yet. That's good. And finally, the piece de resistance, the D24. This car actually is really good. I can't say much about the build process because I got the car pre-built and have only made light changes to it since receiving it, but the car is very, very good. I can only assume that, I don't know, because I built the DLR8 and there was no setup out of the box, like in the instructions. They didn't tell you, hey, make this rod this certain length so you get this much camber and you have this much toe. There was no base tune on the car, which I get it. Most of these bodies are completely custom. You're going to probably have to make the car fit the body anyhow. So what's the point in giving you a base tune? But whatever has been done to this car is very good. And I have to say it is by far the best little car out of all of these to slide. It's no work. It's just pure pleasure the whole time. It's easy going. You don't have to put no crazy input into it. Like, you could drive this car for hours. The only other car that's even slightly this close in my collection right now, or what's at my what I have available to mess with, would be the RTS, for sure. But the D24 is just such a good little car. I need to actually pay attention to what I'm doing here. But yeah, if you get a chance to pick one of these up, do it. This is by far the best car on the market. I see why everybody says it. I'll let you know on the Drift Art, because I'm about to build one. Everybody says they're killer cars too, and they look amazing. If they drive half as good as they look, then yeah, it's going to be a very solid chassis. But enjoy a little RTS D24 footage. Haha. Whoops. It is wildly different compared to the other cars. Since this car has the belt drive in it and wants to essentially e-brake for you every single time you're off gas, the driving characteristics are a little bit different. Simultaneously, they're better. You just have to get used to it. You find yourself manhandling other cars, and then you get behind the wheel of this, and it's so easy to overdrive it because it's pretty easy going. Like, I feel like I'm just idling. This is cruising to town and coming back. A little bit ago when I was driving the GLD, I felt like I was in a boxing match with Mike Tyson. It was brutal. Yeah. Killer chassis. Absolutely must add to your collection. Just going to go ahead and put it out there though. At the end of the day, when I'm done testing everything, I still wind up throwing a battery back in the RTS. Another mention-worthy thing is you can really hear that Hobby Wing brushless system scream. It just echoes through the R35 body. Like, watch. Listen. As soon as you take the body off of it, though, it neuters that sound. So I love it with the body on. Sounds 10th scale to me. Just wish we had a rev limiter, which might be coming soon thanks to me. We'll see. God, I love this car. Anybody who doesn't like the RTS just needs to put more time into tuning it. This is such a good car. And while I'm here, you know what another good car is? Probably the best car for the money out of the box. I'm going to make this argument right now. Kodama. I didn't do shit to the Kodama. All I did was put electronics in it. I set the gyro to 60% positive, and I set the endpoints. The car goes out here and absolutely kills it. If I had more room in my pit bag, I would have brought it with me today to show you guys. So look for that in an upcoming video. But that's going to be its own thing because I'm going to make a very good case of why that should be everybody's first micro drift car. It does have issues, but all of them do. But that thing is built out of the box for $200, and it does not need any setup work. You just put electronics in it and go have fun. It is incredibly hard to beat. But yeah, more, I'll get some good video on that coming very soon. But wow, look at the RTS, guys. Like, why would you not want this? If you like micro drifting, the car just, it sits on angle, and it sits on angle like the D24. It's almost as easy to drive, but the reason why it's not is I've figured that the gear ratio is a little high in this car, and that's with the smaller pinion that's included with it, by the way. So I can't gear the car down anymore with what I have readily available, and when I do, I think that's going to solve a lot of issues. I could turn it down on the controller, but I'm a man, and that's just not an option. So you just deal with the 100% until you can gear it down a smidge. But the car is 98% amazing, where the D24 is 100% amazing, is the best way to put it. By far the best competitor for the D24 I've seen yet. Wait until we get that DLR8 tuned properly, though. I think we're going to see something there.